lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up for a night of heart-pounding action at the Milwaukee Mile. The Tuesday night NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoffs are officially getting underway tonight, and the stakes have never been higher. This historic track with its challenging turns and high-speed straights is the perfect stage for the first round of postseason battles. Every lap, every pass, every maneuver will have a significant impact on the championship race. So let's get this party started. The green flag is about to drop on the opening round of the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoffs. I'm Dave Regal, the voice of Tuesday Night NASCAR, here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and I'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, glad to have all of you in with us tonight. I cannot be more excited. The 10 drivers who have made the Craftsman Truck playoffs here in 2024 are ready to rock and roll, and so are we here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth just outside the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, as here we are in West Allis, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 77 degrees in the stands. That's your outdoor ambient air temperature. 101 degrees, that's the track temperature. And that's something that we're going to be watching all night long. I mean, hopefully as the track cools off, we'll see things tighten up. But 101 is just where we start to loosen up. So drivers going to have to make some adjustments to those chassis and see if they can get those chassis a little bit tighter so they're not beep, bop, and bouncing all over the racetrack. As qualifying well underway here, about 3 minutes 45 seconds left in the qualifying round, as Chris Claude was just announcing pre-race. Of course, he is the chief cook and bottle washer here in the Craftsman Truck Series and really everything here in the SNN family of racing series. He was announcing the 10 playoff drivers, and we will now reveal them to you as Jeremy Paris comes steaming in to the 2024 playoffs. He's got the 05 with 2,046 points. Of course, some of these points have been reset to differentiate between these 10 drivers and the 11th place driver, which just unfortunately happens to be Chris Claude himself. So unfortunately, somebody had to be on the outside looking in and be the first one on the outside looking in. And this year, it was Chris Claude, and that's a mysterious kind of thing where Chris doesn't often wind up out of the playoffs. He's a very consistent driver, but unfortunately, Daniel Moynihan takes over that 10th position, but Jeremy Paris comes steaming in here with the 05 cranked up to crazy. Anthony Savignano, who had kind of a rough night last night and took some jabs from his fellow drivers in the Xfinity Series, is going to sit P2. Tane Hodison has the 93 with 2,010 points here in third. Gabriel Lafreniere, one of our neighbors from the north, driving for Accent LED, he's in fourth. The pride of Norman, Oklahoma, Brandon Minto, just a stone's throw away from the hometown of the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. Brandon Minto gets the number 12 here right in the middle of the playoff hunt. Claude Ferland, just another neighbor north of the border in the 06. He's got his Accent LED Oxmoor Ford F-150 here in sixth position. The faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, has this number 75 NC811.org Ford F-150 in seventh. Rich Jett from Smithfield, Pennsylvania, has the double natural in eighth. John Wilco representing the 570 in, go figure, McAdoo, Pennsylvania. His number 62 JGR Chevrolet Silverado, he's in ninth. And Daniel Moynihan, also representing JGR tonight from Boston, Massachusetts. He's going to have that Dunkin' Dark Roast running through his veins tonight as well. So all of these drivers, these 10 drivers, they will be highlighted in our timing and scoring. On the left-hand side of your screen in red, of course, it will be Craftsman red, as it should be. Hunter Kent right now, he sits atop the pile, but let's see if we can get a hold of Jeremy Paris, as we want to try to get a hold of as many of these playoff drivers as possible. Let's see where he may be. And, of course, I don't have Jeremy Paris in the chat. Oh, there he is, right here in Brittany Steers Racing. Hey, Jeremy, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Dave. What's going on?
Buddy, listen, it's opening night for the playoffs. You come in here with a full head of steam. What do you think you're going to have to do tonight to get that 05 into victory lane?
Milwaukee, Dave, I'm just going to survive. I'm not good at this place. I don't like this place. I'm just going to run laps and hope for the best at the end.
Well, I mean, you can hope for the best, but, this is not one of those abrasive tracks. There's only a few of you on the racetrack tonight, so there should be plenty of real estate, drivers being able to give enough room. What do you think that does, as far as being able to get yourself spread out and, running your own line?
Yeah, we should have plenty of green flag laps here. It'll just come to strategy, and that last stage is about all it'll boil down to.
All right, man. Well, listen, good luck here in the playoffs. I know that it's a big night for everybody. I don't want to hold you up. Of course, warm-up about to be underway, so good luck, and listen, maybe we'll see you at the end of one of these stages, or hopefully in victory lane.
We're going to talk to you later. That's the goal, Dave.
Everybody's goal, besides to mine more coal, is to talk to Dave up here in the broadcast booth. Good luck, brother.
Thanks, bud.
That, of course, the voice, the driver of the 05, Jeremy Paris. Next up here on the list is, of course, the pride, and here he is, the pride of Norman, Oklahoma, driver the number 12. Of course, you know him right here. That's Brandon Minto. Hey, Brandon, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, Dave.
Buddy, listen, Uncle Scott stopped in last night. Of course, I didn't have a Miller Lite on me. I had a 7-7, but regardless, it's a big night for you here in the Truck Series. What are you thinking tonight before we drop the green flag?
Definitely looking to get some points. I don't think I got many playoff points throughout the regular season, so I think I'm like 7 points behind or something. So every little point's going to matter. Trying to get up there to Jeremy Paris because he's been pretty dominant all season whenever he shows up to the track. So it's going to be tough to beat him, but just looking for getting stage points as much as I can.
Yeah, stage points are going to be key tonight. I mean, I've said that all season long. I've seen some drivers who do really well, or in the first two stages. Something bad happens to them in stage 3, and all of a sudden they've got enough stage points to now advance here into the playoffs. I mean, that's kind of a Daniel Moynihan way of how he got here. I know that you've, really put the work in to be here in the Truck Series. I mean, Ferda's face has changed now with the departure of Mike Wright. What does that feel like to you here in the Ferda stable?
Yeah, it's sad that Mike hasn't showed up for most of the season. I still talk to him, and he's like, yeah, I may come back here and there throughout the playoffs, but won't be as a playoff driver, even though I think he had a win. But I at least got Stoney in here now, so I'm not sitting in there lonely the whole time racing. I got somebody else to talk to and strategize with. Like Mike, the big thing with missing Mike was all the coaching he was able to give. Like, he's such a very experienced and skilled driver that anytime I was like having even the smallest issue, I could tell him what I'm doing. He's like, yeah, just try this, and then it would always fix the problem. So that's a big miss, not having him here for all that stuff. But yeah, hopefully he'll come back sometime throughout the playoff.
All right, brother. Well, listen, you go ahead and get that Okie number 12 into victory lane tonight. We'll be counting on you from up here in the broadcast booth.
Thanks, I appreciate it, Dave.
Absolutely. And of course, now as we get Brandon back up here into the Ferda Motorsports stable, we're going to go back up there and see if we can get a hold of him. You all know him as driver the number 75, and of course we know him as the faster Pastor, Stoney Benfield. Hey, Pastor, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
I sure do, Dave. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Man, I'm good, but it's playoff night. You know how I get around playoff time. This is exciting, and here you are holding things down right in the thick of things.
Yeah, and I just got into my rig. I didn't get any practice and had a computer update. My brakes weren't right for qualifying, so I really botched it up. But anyway, we ought to be good in the race, man. We should be.
Well, I mean, if there's anybody who I think can overcome those things, it's you. I mean, you've got the patience. Well, the patience of a pastor, if you will. But, you've got some of the patience and discipline here on the racetrack that I wish some of these other drivers could absorb and just maybe vicariously live through you that way.
Well, that's what it's going to take to win here. You're just going to have to save your stuff and be careful and stay out of trouble. And, it's going to be – it's not how you start, man. It's how you finish.
Man, I get it. Well, listen, good luck tonight. Of course, I'm trying to get to as many playoff drivers as I can. But good luck, and listen, I know that I'm supposed to be non-biased up here, but there's a couple of you in the playoffs that I cannot wait to see what you do tonight.
Well, thank you so much, Dave.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. We'll see you later.
See you now.
That, of course, the voice of the faster pastor out of Albemarle, North Carolina. Next up here on the list, as I'm just kind of bouncing around, grabbing whoever I can, Daniel Moynihan out of Boston, Massachusetts. Hey, Daniel, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, here you sit on the inside of the bubble looking in. Now, don't rub it in Chris's face too hard. I'm just saying I don't want to hear tears.
All right.
I mean, look, he's got to sit there in 11th position and look at what could have been, and here it is. This is like the first year that I've been associated with this league that Chris hasn't made the playoffs, and that's a shocker for me.
I mean, this is my first season in this league. I can't really speak on that, but with that information now, I might just rub it in just a little bit.
Well, rubbin's racing, right?
Oh, of course. That's what we're here for.
So listen, the 53, I know that you've got Dunkin' Dark Roast running through your veins, so tell me what you think that you're going to need to do to get to victory lane tonight.
Definitely keep it clean. Oh, I know it. Definitely keep it clean. Pick my battles and take care of my tires.
All right, brother. Listen, I hate to cut you short, but here we are getting ready to grid up. So good luck. Get in the car, and we'll see you in a little while.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Dave.
Absolutely. That the voice of course, Daniel Moynihan. I keep calling him Bobby Moynihan as from as from Saturday Night Live, but he's definitely not him. As we get ready to take a look at our starting grid, Hunter Kent going to sit on the front row tonight. He's got the number 52 in pole position. Jeremy Paris going to sit alongside of him on the front row. Of course, he is our points leader and our playoff points leader. Gabriel Lafreniere, teammate of all of the folks from north of the border, he's going to be sitting on the inside of row number 2 alongside of his teammate Sylvain Joly. Paul Hill and Anthony Savignano holding things down in row number 3, while row 4 is going to feature Claude Ferland and John Crow Sr. Derek Bacorn and Brandon Minto going to sit here in row number 5, rounding out your starting top 10, while Ron Fitting and Daniel Moynihan, who we just heard from, are going to be in row number 6. Row 7 is going to feature Brian Tarnowski, of course, the heart and soul of all things SNN. In fact, really, right here in the middle of this field, both of them. Brian Tarnowski, who helps to get us on the air every week, and Chris Claude, of course, chief cook and bottle washer here in the Sunday Night NASCAR family of racing series. He's going to sit on the outside of row number 7. Randall Watkins, my brother from another mother, he's going to sit in row number 8 alongside of Richard Pruitt in the number 24. Row 9 features Chris Custer and Andrew Deemer, while Stoney Benfield, the faster pastor, and Casey Bristow are in row number 10. Michael Witt and Keith Long are going to be in row 11, while row 12 is going to be anchored by Tane Hodison and Rich Jett. Of course, now starting shotgun on the field out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, going to be driver of the number 62, John Wilco, as he gets ready to rock and roll tonight for his opening attempt here in the the TNN Truck Series playoffs. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight as we get ready to rock and or roll. Right now, the iRacing.com pace car leading us through turns 3 and 4. And we get ready to watch the iRacing.com pace car peel on down pit road as we come out of turn number 4 back toward the front stretch. And ladies and gentlemen, that means the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Hunter Kent gets rolling early and now starts to put a little bit of distance between himself and Jeremy Paris. 0.3 of a second already for this young man as he wants to hold on for dear life to the lead. He's got a pack of angry Hornets behind him, and he's got 4 now in the playoffs right at his heels as we get started here at the Milwaukee Mile. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, as Hunter Kent, Sylvain Joly, Paul Hill, John Crow, and Derek Bacorn, the only drivers in the top 10 not to be in the playoffs. And oddly enough, that also means that Daniel Moynihan is one of the drivers just outside of the top 10, but is still a playoff driver. As we look a little bit deeper here into the field, we can see Anthony Savignano starting to creep in on Jeremy Paris, and we can see the 50 looking to see if he can nose his way right in here underneath Jeremy Paris. That's not the button. There it is. Out of Erie, Colorado, he's trying to get some heat into these tires. It takes about 5 to 6 laps before you really start to get heat and grip into the tires. We take a quick peek here at our weather conditions that, of course, have updated here in the sim. And that track temperature has now dropped down to 99. So we're about 3.5, 4 degrees away from that witching hour temperature where it's almost perfect racing conditions. So we needed to get somewhere in and around that 95-degree mark as we ride along here with Anthony Savignano. Many of these drivers quickly going single file here, and that's kind of indicative of what this racetrack will produce. That means that once you finally get yourself a run, that's when it's time to rock and or roll. As we take a peek here at the 23 of Derek Bacorn, he's currently running in 9th position trying to chase down Claude Ferland, as Bacorn is just a hair behind him, 0.2 of a second and then some. Brandon Minto, though, he's already struggling as Daniel Moynihan makes his way on by. Moynihan up 2 spots from where he qualified back in 12th. Jeremy Paris in the 05, he's worked his way up here into 3rd position. He had dropped back as far as 5th, and now he's back into 3rd. He qualified on the front row But Hunter Kent really has things figured out here, as currently he leads now by more than a second and then some as we take a look out the rear across the deck lid here. We can see Hunter Kent looking back to Gabriel Lafreniere. Lafreniere right now running 1.02 seconds and now just a little bit less than a second as he gets a run here on the entry to turn one. Not a whole lot of speed locked up here. They're just cresting that 125 mark as they head on down. And here we go. Down the back chute is Hunter Kent, and he's just about 145, going into turn number 3. Of course, we're looking around here on the racetrack. Not a whole lot of action from some of these drivers as they're currently just trying to figure out where they need to be on the racetrack and where the best position is going to be, at least getting started here. Here's Michael Witt in the 88 machine. Michael Witt right now 1.3 seconds behind playoff driver John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. And then we have Chris Claude here in 19th position chasing Wilco down. And Wilco and Casey Bristow getting ready to throw some haymakers at each other as he starts to creep in here on 17th position. Bouncing around the racetrack, we have Brian Tarnowski in an uncharacteristic number 28 that is blank. I'm not sure if he's having a problem. In fact, let's see if we can get up here and fix that. Perhaps he didn't get here in time. As we're going to go high above here and reset those paints and see if we can get that updated for him, because it's definitely a strange look for the 28. Usually he is here in a Stacy Strong paint scheme. We'll see as everybody's filling their paints back in automatically thanks to the miracle of technology. And nope, Brian Tarnowski still showing white, which is a little bit strange. Then we see Chris Custer here in the number 66 Tide Ride. He's chasing down Richard Pruitt in the Exalta number 24 Chevrolet Silverado. Brian Tarnowski running in 13th, and here is the 3 truck of Ron Fitting in the Ally number 3. Do it right. Do it Ally, as he is now starting to reel in Brandon Minto, and Minto has really been struggling here. He talked about it off air a little while ago, and here we are once again as he's just having some troubles here at the Milwaukee Mile. I want to thank everybody once again for tuning in tonight. We are a total distance of 175 laps. Stage 1 going to end at the conclusion of lap number 55, and the green and white checkered flag will fly for the second time at the end of lap number 110. Drivers are going to have 4 sets of tires, including the one they started with tonight. So they've got 3 tire changes. They're going to have to be pretty conservative with their tire consumption. That's a NASCAR rule. That's not our rule. Believe me, if it was my choice, we'd have 75 sets of tires and everybody could change them and keep that speed up as long as possible. What that's going to do, though, in a situation like this is really tighten up the cars as we get deeper into the run. Right now, we can see drivers staying down toward that darker section of the racetrack, and that groove is going to move up ever so slightly here as we keep it moving. There's Richard Pruitt starting to reel in Brian Tarnowski as we go right here to the drone cam. We can see Pruitt starting to get a run here on Tarnowski, but Tarnowski's got a little bit better of an exit here coming out of 2 and down the back chute. He's able to draw away from Pruitt, but Pruitt once again with a better entry here into 3 starts to reel in Tarnowski. He's really rolling the center well here in the 24 as we work lap number 14. Once again, Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight here on Sim Racing Media. Of course, Sunday night was kind of an exciting night here on SRM. We, of course, if you weren't here, I'm sorry you missed it, but we wound up with quite a race at Daytona in the Cup Series, and yours truly was back in the cockpit for the first time in over a year. That was fantastic. Moneyman Moynihan getting a shout-out here from Skinny Note in our YouTube.com live chat. Addison DeRossier is cheering on Brandon Minto. Of course, we know about Brandon Minto, the Michigan rocker, also cheering him on. We're waiting for the appearance of Uncle Scott tipping back the Miller Lights. He always does check in with us, and we appreciate that. We appreciate all of you coming in because, I mean, you know, without you folks at home, we've got no one to talk to, and believe you me, I can only ramble for so long before I run out of stuff. Chris Custer here in the 66 looks to the inside now of Richard Pruitt as they are now fender to fender coming through turn 3 and now 4. And, whoa, getting loose is the 66 of Custer here in the Tide ride. He might need a Tide pen to get that stain out of his fire suit as we are here on lap number 16. Hunter Kent leading the way yet as he is now gained out to 1.5 seconds over Gabriel Lafreniere. And Lafreniere really starting to feel that distance start to creep in on him. And, you know, quite frankly, that can be a little bit disconcerting when you're the driver trailing like that because, you know, you don't want to wind up, as I have a problem with the mic stand here. You don't want to wind up getting discouraged too early in the race. I mean, you know, we still have, you know, a ton of racing left. I mean, you know, 90% of the race is still, you know, yet to be run. And I mean, you know, maybe sitting back here 1.5 seconds and greater isn't the best feeling, but at the same time, he knows that he's still got plenty of time. Of course, we're going to rack him and stack him at the end of stage 1 and 2 as we currently work here in lap number 18. Right now, another close battle starting to brew. It looks like Richard Pruitt making another run at Brian Tarnowski here in the number 28 Chevrolet Silverado as these two Chevys are going to go at it, nearly making contact. Wow. Pruitt's got to be a lot more careful than that as it looks like Tarnowski's really making some hay here on the low side. He gets a good run down the backstretch to try to put some more distance between himself and Pruitt. But Pruitt almost got his right rear quarter panel there on the bed of that truck as we turn lap number 20. And believe you me, folks, it's just too doggone early to start thinking about making dumb decisions here on the racetrack. I mean, Hunter Kent's up here running one heck of a race. He doesn't want to see the caution flag come out. Looks like Tane Hodison in the 93 and Rich Jett in the double natural have both decided not to take the start, which is kind of interesting, especially when both of them are playoff drivers. I'm not too sure why. Going to have to get with those guys and find out what the deal is. In fact, Minto's down 2 laps now. Looks like Minto came down on lap number 16 for about 1 minute and 20 seconds, so I'm not sure what he might have done down there. But he's now down 2 laps, so a couple of playoff drivers really having some bad luck here at the bottom of the pile. In fact, 23rd, 4th, and 5th are all playoff drivers, and they're not doing so hot. It opens the door for Gabriel Lafreniere to try to, you know, open the barn doors and put that hay away here early in stage number, or in, stage 1 of the 2024 playoffs. And as we take a look here at our schedule that's coming up, I just want to remind everybody that the next couple of weeks here in the Truck Series, we are off. So we actually will not be back until September 24th. We're off September 3rd, 10th, and 17th. Of course, we mirror the real NASCAR schedule. So we, of course, have this race tonight here at the Milwaukee Mile. Then, when we come back on September 24th, it's going to be the Uno 200 at Bristol Motor Speedway. That's going to be exciting. Short track racing at Bristol in September under the lights. That's going to be exciting. They finally decided to get rid of the dirt, and we'll talk about that later. And then finally rounding out the first, well, basically our round of 10 here in the Truck Series will be at Kansas on October 1st. October 8th is going to be kind of interesting. Now, I want to prepare everybody. This is going to be kind of wild for the round of 8. Now, October 8th, we're going to be at Talladega. Then the 15th and 22nd, we're going to be off. The 29th, I may not be back here in the broadcast booth, but the Truck Series will be live. We may still be dark on Sim Racing Media as we'll all be returning from Miami, Florida, as we'll be down there for the Homestead Miami race weekend in Miami. So big shout out to everybody here at Sim Racing Media for getting together once again and having our yearly retreat down to the Sunshine State. And then November 5th is when we round out the round of 8, if you will, before championship weekend is going to be on November 12th at Phoenix as usual. Taking a look here at the 83 of Casey Bristow. He's trying to scurry away right now from Chris Custer, as Custer has managed to pull within less than 0.3 of a second of him, as the Germain Racing Toyota Tundra is about to do battle with that 66 Chevrolet. And you know what? Here we are in the early stage of this race, and folks, you may be thinking to yourself, wow, what a snoozer. And believe you me, it's not that exciting just yet. But, once these drivers make some of those adjustments, I mean, we're really going to see some great racing, especially in stages 2 and definitely 3. Still 99 degrees in the asphalt, so drivers not feeling any crazy, crazy swings just yet. And Rich Jet, speaking of crazy things, Rich Jet has made his appearance here on the racetrack in the double natural. So the driver here out of Schwenksville, Pennsylvania, getting himself right here alongside of the 24. I mean, right now he's showing as, multiple laps down. In fact, he's somewhere in and around 23 down, 28 down. 28. Heck of a day, as he has technically run less than a full lap so far after coming off of pit road. So perhaps he had something in the real world holding him up, and he at least got himself into the server so he wouldn't lose those points. But Hunter Kent right now, the story of this race, 2.43 seconds and then a little less as he rolls through turns 3 and 4. And now he's just about at 2.5 seconds over top of Gabriel Lafreniere. Now Lafreniere, another driver kind of out here in perfect land for real estate. I mean, he's got 2.5 seconds up to Hunter Kent. Looks like 2 3/4 back to Jeremy Paris. And Paris is 1.4. I mean, right now, these drivers are just kind of out here logging laps, trying to make some kind of feeling adjustments here to the trucks, and will, of course, get caught up with that once they come down pit road for that opening round of pit stops. But, at this stage in the race, you just got to get yourself settled in. I mean, we have about 25 laps to go this time here at the line. So, a 24 next time by. So, this point, you don't want to make too many sudden movements. And, I mean, they're really ticking these laps off nice and easy. First caution of the night. It looks like Paul Hill may have gone off track. We'll see what happened here with Paul. As we go to the replay screen, here it is. Paul here in the 6 machine, that CarQuest Chevrolet. Oof. Those tires gave up on the 6, and he wound up just having the rear end step around on him. Let's see if we can go back down here to the gearbox perspective and see if we might be able to find this a little bit differently. And here we are with Paul Hill. He gets back on the throttle and just absolutely gooses it. Too much torque there at the rear end, and that will bring you around, unfortunately, hard. And let's see if we can take a look here from his helmet cam as well. Ooh, he shifted kind of hard. There goes the proverbial dynamite. Now he holds on to it and just kind of bounces off those tires just in the nick of time. Hey, Hunter, it's Dave up at the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, Dave?
I mean, not much, but I mean, right now you had a pretty commanding lead until this caution came out. I mean, take us through what's going on in your helmet right now. I mean, you know, you've got to figure that these drivers around you are hungry, but you just managed to run away with this one so far.
Well, you know, we came into this race, you know, not being able to make the playoffs. I think we missed it by 3 spots getting into the top 20. So I told Jeremy, I was like, man, I'm going to be here, and I'm going to show that these guys that I deserve to be in these playoffs. And we're going to try to go out here and get every point we can throughout the rest of the season and help our teammate out when we can. But, you know, I noticed Jordan wasn't in this booth, but every time Jordan's up in the booth, we seem to have a pretty dominant truck. But I'm sure he's watching from afar. He's up in the crowd somewhere. But it's good to hear your voice, Dave, and it's good to see you back up there in the booth.
I'm definitely glad to be back up here in the booth. Sunday night was a little bit of an exciting night for me as I went back to the cockpit for the first time in a year, and it reminded me that I belong up here with the microphone and not down there with a wheel in my hand.
Hey, every once in a while, you know, you got to get a taste of it.
Trust me, it was like a drug, and I felt like this was about to be a relapse night, but Daytona taught me where I belong for sure. I mean, right now where you belong is up here atop the pile, so good luck, brother, and I appreciate you down there putting on a good show.
10-4. Thank you, Mr. Dave.
Always, and that, of course, the voice of Hunter Kent, our race leader tonight. So far, so good for him as everybody is now double file, racked, stacked, and ready to go at it all over again here. When we go back green flag racing, it's going to be Hunter Kent, Gabriel Lafreniere, Jeremy Paris, Anthony Savignano, Sylvain Joly, Claude Ferlin, Daniel Moynihan, Derek Bacorn, Ron Fitting, and Richard Pruitt. That's your restarting top 10. Only a few drivers came down pit road. John Crow Sr., Andrew Deaver, Brian Tarnowski, Michael Witt, and Randall Watkins. As we take a peek here at what I hope to be, yep, there it is, the Miller Genuine Draft Ford F-150. Sometimes we'll see that Miami-Dade Fire Rescue paint scheme, but tonight he's decided to go MGD, and that's fine by me, as the iRacing.com pace car leads us out of turn number 4 and gets himself settled in here, ready to drop down onto pit road. These drivers are ready to rock and roll. Here we go. We hit the Geico restart zone almost as soon as the iRacing.com pace car gets out of the way. And off we go. Hunter Kent continues his dominance here as he gets a great restart over Jeremy Paris and Gabriel Lafreniere. Anthony Savignano is all over the rear bumper here of Jeremy Paris. He's looking to try to get around the 06 Oxmoor F-150, but what a run the 06 and the 05 get as they nearly touch here in turns 1 and 2. As we roll onto the backstretch, it looks like Paris is going to have the ability to maybe get a run here on the 06, but not so fast, my friend, says Gabriel Lafreniere from Saint Jude, as the Canadian native is really putting the sticks here to the 05. The battle raging behind them is allowing Hunter Kent to already hop out to nearly a 1-second lead over the rest of the field. As we suddenly have a 3-way battle for second place here. I want to thank everybody for checking in with us tonight in the YouTube.com live chat. As we take a look at these drivers side by side, John Force style into turn number 3, as Alan Bergen would say, and a good rotation out of the 06. He's going to get a run here coming out of turn 4. Not enough, though. Jeremy Paris just too strong and too much. What a battle we see, and now Paris tries to slide up here to throw a block in front of the 06. He can't pull it off. And they're still going at it. This is about the 3rd lap in a row that these drivers have not come off of one another's door panels. There's the contact, but they keep it clean. Jeremy Paris, after the contact, is able to start to run away from Gabriel Lafreniere, and here comes Anthony Savignano, as Savignano's looking to haul it here into turn number 1 and give it all he's got, but unfortunately, Gabriel, whether it's weirdo Canadian bacon or not under the hood, he's got himself a little bit of an edge over the Italian Anthony Savignano. Gabriel Lafreniere starting to gap Anthony Savignano here in the waning laps of stage number 1. No caution for cause so far. John Crow Sr., though, he's ready to start doing battle here with Daniel Moynihan as they are side by side. This battle coming to life now as Crow looks to the inside now of Moynihan. And Crow now the highest running non-playoff driver, being up in 6th position. Sounds like there was a problem with Brandon Minto's throttle, as he is now down 5 laps. All of a sudden, John Crow Sr. works his way around Daniel Moynihan and now puts Claude Ferlin in the crosshairs, as it looks like he is saved a little here for the closing laps of stage 1. Crow now the highest running non-playoff driver in 5th position, as he is side by side here with Claude Ferlin coming into turn number 3. He hauls it down here through 3, gets a good rotation through the center, and is able to roll off here and secure away 5th position. John Crow Sr., of course, and there he is. John Crow Sr., of course, here in the 95 Premier Setup Shop Toyota Tundra. Of course, Premier Setups, one of our sponsors on Sim Racing Media. All over this Toyota Tundra. We want to thank them for being our sponsor here on SRM. And we take a quick peek here at our YouTube.com live chat. Craig Franklin saying hello, and he's new here. Welcome, Craig. Glad to have you with us. The Michigan Rocker extending the hearty handshake and laurel to our new fan, Craig Franklin. And the big dog, Shane Lake, is checking in. That's the work mistress. Shane, I've got an empty cold seat here next to me if you want to join in. Just saying. Of course, a peek behind the curtain, and Shane Lake being the work mistress, that's because my work wife is Matt Metler. We, of course, anchor all things Cup Series action on Sunday nights right here on Sim Racing Media. If you like what you see here on Tuesday nights, make sure that you tune in Sunday night in prime time at 7:30 Eastern, as Matt Metler and I will bring you all of the action in the SNN Cup Series. Then, of course, you get to hang out with me again on a Monday night for the SNN Xfinity Series. We're here on Tuesdays, and I'm also calling the Racers Elite Cup Series on Thursday night. So 4 nights of racing action with your friend Dave Regal here, and glad to have all of you with us as we watch Casey Bristow here in the 83. Suddenly a little 3-way battle breaking out for 13th position. There's Stony Benfield. That is not the NC811.org Ford F-150. I'm not sure what that paint scheme is supposed to be, but it's certainly not what I thought it was. I would find it odd if it was a Hooters paint scheme. The man's a pastor. Casey Bristow now in a 2-way battle with the 66, and we take a peek up here at Ron Fitting, who's starting to be reeled in by John Wilco in the 62. Wilco running in 12th position, about a half second behind Fitting. And that lead starting to ebb away as we are 5 to go here in stage number 1. 54 laps in the books. Hunter Kent leads us now by almost 3 seconds over Jeremy Paris. And believe you me, Jeremy Paris is the kind of driver he's going to probably be taking some big swings at the old setup here. He's got to loosen that thing up. Track's getting a little too tight here for Hunter Kent as he comes back to the start-finish line. Final lap of stage number 1. Jeremy Paris running in P2. Gabriel Lafreniere and John Crow Sr. running 3rd and 4th. Anthony Savignano and Claude Ferland, they're back here in 5th and 6th. Daniel Moynihan, Sylvain Joly, Richard Pruitt, and Ron Fitting right now is Fitting the last car here that would be awarded stage points. And here in the playoffs, that's going to be an even bigger deal than usual, as rolling out of turn number 4 and coming back to the start-finish line is Hunter Kent. He will capture the green and white checkered flag. We have to wait until Ron Fitting crosses the start-finish line to make sure nobody's going to exchange another position here. Pit road is closed, and here comes Ron Fitting. And that will conclude stage number 1. Hunter Kent, your stage 1 winner.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile here in West Allis, Wisconsin. Hunter Kent, he is your stage 1 winner. We're going to get a chance now to speak with him, as it looks like Daniel Moynihan was timed coming first off of pit road, but let's see if we can get a hold of Hunter. And first I've got to be able to pull up Discord. Too many screens and too much going on here. And here is Hunter Kent, winner of stage number 1. Hey, Hunter, it's Dave. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, listen, you bested your teammate here in stage 1. I mean, you know, he thought he had something for you, but you were eventually gapping everybody by all but 3 seconds and then some. What on God's green earth do you have under the hood of that Chevrolet tonight?
Man, it's just a lot of hard work by the Conti guys over there. It's all the credit goes to them, and credit goes to Jeremy and a couple other guys over there at the shop over at SBR. So we're going to continue to try and see if we can keep the wheels under this thing and go out here and see if we can't lead some more.
Well, it looks like you're going to be restarting from the lead, but you're going to have some angry Hornets behind you. I mean, right now, you're the top-running non-playoff driver. You, John Crow, Sylvain Joly, and Richard Pruitt, all here in the top 10 non-playoff drivers. I mean, you know, one of the things that I think this league does better than anybody is, you know, you may not be a playoff driver, but they're letting you run. I mean, you've earned your way up here to the lead. The least they can do is let you lead and show them your tailpipe for a little while.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have fun up here. And like I said earlier, we're going to come into these next however many races. I think it's 10 races, whatever it is. We're going to try and do what we're doing here tonight and just keep her out front and see what we can do for the rest of the season.
All right, brother, listen, you got another run here to get to the end of lap number 110, so good luck. Go with God. Don't take any wooden nickels.
Yes, sir.
Well, folks, that's the voice of Hunter Kent as we get ready to get back green flag racing here in just a moment. We want to get out of his hair so he can concentrate on what he's doing. As we get ready to go back green flag racing, it's going to be Hunter Kent, Gabriel Lafreniere, Anthony Savignano, John Crow Sr., Jeremy Paris, Sylvain Jolie, Claude Ferland, Richard Pruitt, Stoney Benfield, and John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. They're going to be restarting top 10 here at the Milwaukee Mile. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. As always, your faithful friend here at the microphone in the sim racing media world of racing, if you will. As the iRacing.com pace car comes out of turn number 4, he makes the hard left turn down pit road. There he goes. And we suddenly hit the Geico restart zone and back underway for about 50 laps to go now for stage number 2. Anthony Savignano looking to see if he can throw one as hard as he can in the strike zone at the 52. And right now the 50 thinks that he can get the best of him. He's going to have to use a lot of race truck to get around him. You can see him bouncing around here. He doesn't have it this time. He swings out behind the 52. And all of a sudden, Hunter Kent, just like that, peels away from him like the skin off of a potato. For some reason, potato is the hot word of the day for me. I'm not sure where that comes from. I mean, I know where it comes from today, but I don't know why it's suddenly become the thing. As Chris Claude here, 11th in points, having to look from the outside in, works right alongside the 88 of Michael Witt. And Chris Claude battling it out right now with Witt as they are side by side. Chris, though, he fades back here against the low line, while Hunter Kent just laid down fast time of the race so far as he now starts to gap Savignano by a half second. Randall Watkins, Mr. 305 in the MGD F-150. He hauls it down through here, and what on God's green earth is this in front of him? Folks, I don't know what we're about to discover here. Oh my. Well, obviously we've got another voter for Haktua 24. And Andrew Deemer has decided that's the only way he's going to get up here and lead a couple of laps eventually. He's got to give it the old Haktua to get up here and around Casey Bristow in the 83. Oh my. He's definitely going to be winning paint scheme of the evening as drivers getting themselves settled in here for about 45 more laps this time by in stage number 2. They managed to get through stage 1 pretty simply, and I don't want to jinx it, but that's a good time to get through there in stage number 1, just under 37 minutes. As now we see Daniel Moynihan and Chris Custer exchanging positions. Moynihan working to the inside of Chris Custer, slinging it out just in front of the Tide Ride, and Custer out of Ohio is going to have to stare here at the Massachusetts native as the Duncan machine is now under attack, as maybe it looks like I don't know if they have the Texas two-step in Ohio, but Chris Custer definitely trying to throw on some boots and show you how to boogie around this place in Milwaukee. Tonight's entertainment brought to you by the fine folks at PepsiCo and Mountain Dew Zero, mixed with a little bit of our libation from Bankers Club. Hunter Kent here in the 53. He's starting to trot away from Anthony Savignano. He looks over his shoulder and decides he's got some time here. Something going on with John Crow Sr. He has lost power. Not sure what's going on with Crow. There's something heinously wrong with Crow, and he's trying to get to pit road. Crow's truck Is it out of fuel? Did he not get fuel? No, I can hear the engine running. He's just at about 1,000 RPMs. Something very wrong with John Crow Sr. Let's take a run back here. Not sure what we're going to find, but let's go back a couple of laps. We'll bring you back right here to John Crow Sr. Listen in here. Taking a look back at our race leader, everything getting really single file here. This race is currently strung out more than the line at a methadone clinic. Everybody single file, fighting their own battle, and nothing closer than 0.3 of a second right now on the racetrack. Oh, I lied. There's Daniel Moynihan suddenly making a clown out of me as he draws in on John Wilco. Barber Pinion checking in. Stoney's been running this paint scheme on his truck and car for a couple of weeks. Still has his NC811, but added our church logo, PBC. Prospect Baptist Church, the faster pastor over the door. I guess it may be something that didn't update in trading paints. But, of course, trying to tip a cap here to the Prospect Baptist Church down there in Albemarle, North Carolina. And now that I finally know, now I know where to tune in on a Sunday. The Allen Experience saying he feels unloved. It's not that we don't love you, Allen, but there's also a seat next to me you could join too. Moino fans rise up. Skinny Note here has now just gotten himself a new name. Skinny Note has finally... You know what? I'm a Moina fan. I mean, first of all, that kid has a voice that he just has more brass and bass in that thing than anybody here on the racetrack. Not sure which analogy young Camel appreciates, but I'm assuming it was the methadone clinic one. But 76 laps in the books, as Young Camel says, Moina fans rise up. All of a sudden, the voice of an angel. Let's not get crazy. If you want to hear the voice of an angel, you tune in every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday right here to Sim Racing Media. Hunter Kent now 2.7 seconds ahead of Anthony Savignano. Savignano about a quarter of a second ahead of Gabriel Lafreniere. Savignano really trying to stay away from Lafreniere. I think both of them have pretty much understood that Hunter Kent is literally the truck to beat tonight here, as he has just been the Pied Piper of the Milwaukee Mile. And, yeah, I'm well aware, Young Camel, you're not wrong, that's for sure. Just happens to be a good one. As Sylvain Joly, our neighbor from the north, he's running the 08 right now in 5th position, holding on to that top 5. But Hunter Kent all by his lonesome in his own zip code, as suddenly it looks like Gabriel Lafreniere may be starting to reel in Anthony Savignano as we start to watch this battle brew. I think we're going to see a little bit of movement here as we come up to the drone cam. To the inside goes Gabriel Lafreniere, and the question is, does he have the run that he needs to get along Savignano's side? He does, and now they come out side by side, all but ready to touch fenders coming onto the front stretch. Lafreniere looks to the inside. He goes to dive it in there. He does. He's not going to be able to fully clear Savignano until the entry of 3, I'm fairly certain. Here they come into 3. There's the run. Nope. Savignano's got a little something for him here. They roll out of 3, come back into 4, back to the front stretch. Back to the front stretch. That's kind of an oxymoron from the oxymore Ford F-150. And there is the securing of P2 for Gabriel Lafreniere. Daniel Moynihan starting to work around Stoney Benfield here in the 75. And now it looks like Moynihan trying to put Richard Pruitt into the crosshairs as he's starting to make a little progress. So I'm curious whether or not Moynihan made any adjustments here on pit road when they came down, because conditions here aren't drastically different as we work lap number 82. In fact, we see right now track temperature has dropped to 96. It needs 1 more degree before these trucks really start to come alive as we're here on lap number 82, working our way toward lap number 110. Hunter Kent now leading by nearly 4 seconds. Jeremy Paris starting to creep in here on Anthony Savignano. Believe me, he's got plenty of time. Looks like Savignano may have cooked a little bit too much off the 50 when he was challenging Hunter Kent for the lead, and now Hunter's teammate Jeremy Paris is looking to make a move here. If he took any notes from Gabriel, we now know how to get around Savignano. Hunter Kent now over the 4-second mark as Jeremy Paris is now 0.3 of a second behind Savignano, 1/4 of a second between Stoney Benfield and Richard Pruitt. And here's John Wilco. We're going to go on board with Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania, as Wilco is trying desperately to get up here to that deck lid of the 75. He just about had him a moment ago, and now he's had to back off a little bit, and now I say a little bit, but it's becoming substantial as 0.3 of a second now separate Stoney from John Wilco. And, of course, we're going to go right here on board with Stoney Benfield looking back at Wilco. And as we look across that deck lid of the 75, we can see him getting a great run here out of 4. So he's got a great exit strategy. You know what, I almost tripped into the land of political science, but he's got a great exit strategy here at Milwaukee. Jeremy Paris now running in 4th position. He's getting ever closer now to Anthony Savignano. And, you know, this is something that these guys from the Brittany Steers Racing Stable do. You know, Hunter Kent's up here, and he has not come off his racing line. He's starting to get into the lap traffic department as he's about to serve lunch to Randall Watkins. He's the next car to put a lap down. And, you know, Hunter Kent is going to hit his same marks time after time after time. And Jeremy Paris has been doing the exact same thing and wearing out Anthony Savignano. And sometimes that's the only way. Wow, what a blow into pit road for Keith Long. Let's take a look at this. Keith Long gets all kinds of sideways and decides to quick default down pit road instead of bringing out the caution. Keith Long now back out on the racing surface as he just locked him up and dived down pit road. He's going to have that early entry now. Randall Watkins a lap down. That's going to put 16 cars on the lead lap. 5.6 seconds between Hunter Kent and Gabriel Lafreniere, as now slowly but surely Jeremy Paris is going to work his way up to the rear end of Anthony Savignano, and he's got to be frustrating Savignano. Savignano's the kind of driver that doesn't want anybody around him, and he wants to be up front. But look at all of this work. Here we go on board with Paris. He's going to peek to the inside. Does Savignano throw a block? Not this time. Maybe he learned his lesson from nights past. And remember, it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. Savignano now dives down to the low side, so Paris is going to try to pass him on the high side. He's not going to do it. Savignano inadvertently throwing a block because he knows that that's where Paris is able to get around him. So now he's got Paris pinned to the high side. Paris has to make a decision. Does he want to battle it out here on the high side? Oh, they make contact. He loosens up the 50. Oh, he loosens the 50. The question is, does the 50 retaliate? We're going to keep it right here over the 05 and the 50. Getting another run is Jeremy Paris. He's figured out how to run the high side and make that work for himself. Jeremy Paris now securing away third position from Anthony Savignano. He just worked at him for about the last 20 laps here and wore him out. We're going to run something back here as something seems to have gone on here with Ron Fitting. Not sure where this might have come from. And was it the 83 or was it the 66 that Ron got involved with? And it may have been Chris Custer here. I know that he's not an aggressive driver, that's for sure. They were side by side just a moment ago going down the back chute. Chris got loose as a goose and slid across the nose of the 3, causing him to have to check up and allowing the 83 on by. Hunter Kent now out to 7.5 seconds. Gabriel Lafreniere holding off Jeremy Paris as Paris, I don't know if he's got enough laps here in stage 2, but now Lafreniere hiding just in front of the number 12 Ford F-150. Hunter Kent, Gabriel Lafreniere, Jeremy Paris, Anthony Savignano, Sylvain Joly, Claude Ferlin, Daniel Moynihan, Stoney Benfield, Richard Pruitt, and John Wilco. That's your top 10. As we look here at John Wilco, he's still trying to hold off Casey Bristow here in the 83. And Bristow starting to reel him in ever so gently from Williamsburg, Virginia, a proud Air Force veteran and police officer. Thank you for your service, Casey. Of course, we have several veterans here from the United States Armed Forces, and of course some first responders as well. So a tip of the cap to my brother Randall Watkins, who's a 6-year cancer survivor. I'm going to get a chance to see him in October when I head on down to the Sunshine State in Miami. I can't wait to see him. Two laps to go in stage number 2 as Hunter Kent has showed everybody now why he deserves to lead this race. 8.1 seconds the gap between himself and Gabriel Lafreniere. He rolls it out of turn number 3. He's heading back down here, crossing the start-finish line. Hunter Kent going to win stage number 2. He's swept them both so far. Gabriel Lafreniere and Jeremy Paris come across second and third, while Anthony Savignano crosses in fourth. Sylvain Joly, Daniel Moynihan, Stoney Benfield, and Richard Pruitt are going to round out your top 10 here at the, Casey Bristow going to round out your top 10 here at the end of stage number 2 as he rolls it back here toward the start-finish line. There's your competition caution. Oh, nope, just kidding. We've got one more. And there it is. Hunter Kent still wins stage number 2. Young Campbell giving a shout out to Randall. And that will conclude stage number 2. We're going to step aside and pay some bills here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Tuesday Night NASCAR.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $400,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile, where Hunter Kent has wrapped things up here in stage number 2. And with us now, the winner of stage number 2, Hunter Kent. Hey, Hunter, it's Dave. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Well, here we are. It's like deja vu all over again, as the great Yogi Berra would have said. Back here with the green and white checkered flag in hand. What you have to have rocket fuel in that thing.
Man, this thing is I don't know if I've ever driven a truck as good as this one right here, man. And these type of tracks just kind of fit my style, and we're just trying to dig.
Well, and dig you are. I mean, you have been dominant. I mean, this time you wound up with a gap of 8 seconds, and I think a lot of that is coming from the fact that, first stage we had a caution, and, now, of course, that kind of shortened things up. But now we're looking at just a little more than 60 laps here as you get ready to go back green flag racing. I want to say good luck. I want to say I hope to see you do well here as you get ready to head on down the backstretch. What's going to be the strategy here in stage 3?
Basically just keep clean air right here and hopefully do what we just did.
All right, brother. Well, listen, good luck the rest of the way, and I'm sure we're going to see you here at the end of this piece.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. As we put him back up into his race chat, we got to make sure that we don't distract our drivers. As Hunter Kent comes back toward the Geico restart zone, here we go. It's going to be 60 to go when the iRacing.com pace car peels out of the way. The green flag waves, and stage 3 here in the opening race of the 2024 Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series is underway. Drivers out here on the racetrack doing battle like crazy. Jeremy Paris side by side with the 06. It's the 06, the 05, and the 50. Couple of O's and a 50. Anthony Salvignano looking on from behind as Jeremy Paris is trying to make it a P2 run for himself right now. He gets to the inside here. The Elite Holding Chevrolet working to the inside of the Oxmoor F-150. The Oxmoor F-150 losing that battle for the time being, and now Jeremy Paris is going to try to set sail and catch his teammate, Hunter Kent. The 62 with Scooby-Doo and you in that Valvoline Chevrolet Silverado just ahead of Richard Pruitt. Hunter Kent just improving upon his own fast time in the race, laying down a 30.17, a three-quarters of a second ahead of teammate Jeremy Paris, and he's growing. Hunter Kent looks like he wants to dominate the remainder of this race as we're just approaching 55 to go. Gabriel Lafreniere starting to have to hold off Anthony Salvignano again as Lafreniere is trying to chase down Jeremy Paris. Things already starting to cool down on the racetrack, but here's where things are getting a little heated as, of course, it looks like maybe they have that coffee pot turned on and starting to brew as the 53 of Daniel Moynihan is going to be chasing down the 43 of Claude Ferland. He's right between two Canadians. As he gets onto the rumble strip just a little bit there, you could hear it. Claude Ferland running in fifth position, trying to hold off Daniel Moynihan, who really wants to get that fifth position. Of course, all of this matters to these drivers, highlighted in red. Those are your playoff drivers. We can see right here on your screen as there it is. As we pull up those championship points, I mean, you know, we don't want to cheapen everybody else here on the racetrack, but this is the way things go. And for Daniel Moynihan, who currently runs in 10th position, a top 5 finish would absolutely do him wonders here in playoff season. It's also going to be pretty hard to get ahead of Gabriel Lafreniere, who currently runs in 3rd position, about 0.3 of a second ahead of Anthony Salvignano now. But those are your playoff drivers. That's your playoff picture. And we can see all of those drivers highlighted in red on the left-hand side of your screen. Tane Hodgson never took a start. Paul Hill, he only ran 31 laps. Rich Jett, he's still out here, but he's down a bunch of laps. Starting to hear problems here with the 23. He may be having some connection issues. Let's take a look here and see if we can watch them stabilize. 130 laps in the books. Going to be 45 to go this time at the line. As we pass by the Briggs and Stratton and Bacardi billboards here. As Bacorn seems to have settled out his connection issues. We take a look here at this close battle. Here's Daniel Moynihan really trying to creep in here. Looks like everything is calmed down here. I hear a couple of drivers chattering on race radio about the 23, but it looks like he's gotten things back under control. 2.9 seconds now for Hunter over Gabriel Lafreniere. Here's Anthony Savignano side by side with Jeremy Paris, almost a replay of earlier. Anthony Savignano battling it out here with Jeremy Paris. They are door handle to door handle coming out of turn 4. Oh, Luce gets the 50. Still drag racing down the front stretch. Now the 50 tucks in behind the 05. Now the 50 getting a run here on the 05 as we work lap number 134. We're approaching 40 laps to go here at the Milwaukee Mile. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. And this is starting to become kind of a quiet race, so to speak. Things not getting too out of hand. One caution for cause. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you consider what could be here at the Milwaukee Mile. And, of course, having a field this size helps as well. But the faster pastor, Stoney Benfield, as we check in on him, currently running in 8th position, up 11 from where he had qualified. Doing a great job here in the 75 machine. And now the 38 is going to come down pit road. That's Andrew Deemer. Deemer was the last car in the lead lap, so it looks like he's going to have to come on down pit road, maybe give this Toyota Tundra the old Hawk Tua, and get himself into position, as this should be the money stop. 3.14 seconds the gap for Hunter Kent over Gabriel Lafreniere. Lafreniere has really started to chew in on that. Not sure if Hunter Kent's trying to save here. As we're going to go on board with him, maybe he's trying to save fuel to see if he can get this done. Nope. He's not cycling the throttle, and he's not cycling the clutch in and out. Anthony Savignano starting to try to chase down Jeremy Paris again. You'd think he'd learn his lesson. Some of these drivers are going to have to adapt to overcome their current positions as Jeremy Paris leads Anthony Savignano, and Savignano has been trying desperately to hurl everything he's got at him, and he just doesn't have enough. Stoney Benfield trying to creep in here on Daniel Moynihan. He looks to the inside and almost makes it look easy to get around the Duncan F-150. As a pair of Fords going at it here. No one's finding those on road dead, that's for sure, as now Stoney hauls it into turn number 3. He gets a run on the 53. Doesn't complete the pass just yet, as a good run gets Moynihan out of the corner here, coming back to the front stretch, and all of a sudden starts to gap Stoney by almost 0.4 of a second, and now Stoney starts to reel him in again. This is almost like watching Bassmasters on ESPN4. Anthony Savignano still trying to get here to the rear of Jeremy Paris. It's just not working out for him in the Jegs number 50. And Paris is just hitting every mark. And right now, Hunter Kent kind of holding his own here, keeping Lafreniere about 3.6 seconds behind him. Hunter Kent, Gabriel Lafreniere, Jeremy Paris, Anthony Savignano, Claude Ferlin, Sylvain Joly, Daniel Moynihan, Stoney Benfield, John Wilco, and Richard Pruitt are your top 10. We're going to step aside and pay some bills here just before the end of this race, but don't go away. We're going to go NASCAR side by side right here on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal, and this is Tuesday Night NASCAR.
Masker can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force it off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom. Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Preen Garden Weed Preventer and Preen Garden Weed Preventer Plus Plant Food block weeds before they start and are safe for use around over 400 flowers, vegetables, trees, and shrubs. Best of all, they give you 3 months of freedom from weeding in just 4 easy steps. You can apply Preen anytime before or during the growing season. But since it's a weed preventer, not a weed killer, early spring is best. Here's how. Start by removing existing weeds and their roots in the area where you want to apply Preen. Sprinkle granules directly onto dry soil, mulch, or stone so that they're evenly spaced. Within 24 hours of applying, integrate the granules into the top layer of soil or mulch or stone-covered bed. Finally, water with a hose or sprinkler, or a well-timed soaking rain to activate the protective weed barrier. When activated, Preen creates an invisible weed-fighting barrier just below the soil surface that targets and prevents weed seeds from sprouting and forming roots. People and pets may enter the treated area once dusts have settled and the area is thoroughly dry from watering or first rain. That's it. Now you'll have a beautiful weed-free space and 3 months to do anything but weeding. Satisfaction guaranteed. Trusted for over 50 years, Preen is America's #1 weed preventer brand with weed preventers for every type of garden.
Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile, where Tuesday night NASCAR Truck Series playoffs, round number 1 has just 16 laps to go. Hunter Kent has been the Pied Piper of West Allis, Wisconsin. Gabriel Lafreniere just 3.4 seconds behind, and at the end of stage 2, there were all but 8 seconds between Kent and Lafreniere, and now here they are with less than 4. That's one of the closest gaps here on the racetrack for some of these drivers, as Claude Ferland and teammate Sylvain Joly are separated by just 0.3 of a second. Chris Claude running in 13th position right now, trying to get his way around this racetrack. And Ron Fitting, the last driver on the lead lap, currently trailing John Wilco by 0.6 of a second. 6 playoff drivers. Yeah, I'm counting a second time. 6 playoff drivers are here in the top 10. 4 non-playoff drivers. That's how you make 10, 6 and 4. And Hunter Kent right now just absolutely dominating. It's almost a shame that he wasn't where he needed to be in points so that he could have qualified for the playoffs, because he definitely would have had it. But instead, our 10th place runner in the playoffs right now, Daniel Moynihan, he's currently running in 7th position. Now, he was as high as 5th earlier here in the number 53 Duncan Midnight F-150 out of Boston, Massachusetts. There's a surprise. Newsflash, guy from Boston drinks Dunkin' Donuts. And right now he is fighting a very loose pickup truck here with 13 laps to go at Milwaukee. John Wilco out of McAdoo, Pennsylvania. He's got that Scooby-Doo 62 running hot and heavy in 12th position, so he, another playoff driver, doing very well tonight. But right now, your highest running playoff driver is Gabriel Lafreniere from St. Jude. And Gabriel right now is trying to put himself in the best position to transfer to that round of 8. Later on, after we have the 3 races here in the round of 10. Jeremy Paris here in the 05 did a lot of battling with Anthony Savignano. It looks like Savignano finally cooked everything he could out of the 50. And now with 10 laps to go is now gapped by Jeremy Paris by almost 5 seconds. 7 laps left for Hunter Kent to maintain this lead. He's extended it a little bit further here as Gabriel Lafreniere is out to 4.77 seconds. We look here to the youtube.com live chat. Looks like things have quieted down, folks. I don't know what's going on or what's on your minds, but let us know. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications for Sim Racing Media. That helps us be found by more and more of your friends and family. Of course, getting to 4,000 subscribers was part of what put yours truly in the cockpit on Sunday night at Daytona International Speedway for the first time in a year. And I'll tell you what, I got a chance to run with some of these guys that I've gotten to know both from the racetrack and from the broadcast booth. And what a joy that was. And I want to thank personally right now here on the air, I want to thank Chris Claude for allowing that to happen, because to be fair, it was kind of a self-invite. We didn't really discuss it with Chris. We just kind of told him, hey, we're doing this, by the way, and you're gonna have to let us in somehow. And once again, a big thank you to Chris Claude. And, of course, I want to tip my cap to Brian Tarnowski for providing the paint for the 59 car on Sunday night. And, got some setup help from one of the drivers who shall remain nameless due to an anonymity clause there. But the 52 right now of Hunter Kent working around the 83 of Casey Bristow, putting him down a lap. That puts 9 cars left on the lead lap. Richard Pruitt would be next, and we can see the Exalta out the front windshield here of the 52, but I don't think he's got enough. 4 laps to go here at the Milwaukee Mile, but just what a joy it was to get back behind the wheel, spend some time drafting, racing. I mean, hearing that thunder, getting the butt kicker, of course, that you've seen here on Tuesday Night NASCAR tonight a couple of times, getting that butt kicker warmed up and feeling those tires slip and slide and doing everything that a car will do at a super speedway. It was just a lot of fun, and I wouldn't say that it hearkened me to want to come back full-time by any stretch of the term, but it was just enough to wet my whistle. So I look forward to hitting that 5,000 mark as we get now down to 3 laps to go. And at the line, the popsicle sticks go up, and we're 2 laps to go. As Hunter Kent rolls out of turn number 4, the popsicle sticks go down, the white flag is in the air, and we're racing back to checkers. Hunter Kent has been in full domination mode tonight as he rolls here on this final lap, and I cannot tell you how exciting it has been to watch him, as Hunter Kent has only run a few races. In fact, he's only got 4 starts on the season this year in this league, and every time he has at least scored every time except for one, he has scored himself a top 5. And here he is, Hunter Kent coming across the line. He captures the checkered flag, and Hunter Kent dominates here at the Milwaukee Mile. And this will add another feather into his cap for the 52. Going to get ourselves a chance to talk here to the race winner, Hunter Kent, who has earned the right tonight to burn it down here in Milwaukee. There's Hunter Kent right here at the start-finish line. Hey, Hunter, it's Dave. You got a copy?
What's up, Dave?
Man, you are the Duke of Dominance here in Wisconsin tonight. I mean, holy crap.
Hey, man, just like we talked about earlier, this track fits my style of driving and that short track mentality. And man, this thing was an absolute rocket ship tonight. And it's been a long time since I've drove a truck like that, and just can't thank everybody over at Team Conti and then over at SCR for all the hard work they put in. And man, it paid off tonight.
Yeah, paid off would be the understatement of the year for sure. I mean, you went out and just dominated from start to finish here tonight. I mean, your biggest gap was all but 8 seconds and then some. It looked like Gabriel was trying to reel you in, but good Lord, I mean, they couldn't have gotten you on Bassmasters with a net and, a stick of dynamite. There was nothing that was going to stop you.
Yeah, like I said, it's just big shout out to everybody that puts these sets together and allows us to drive these trucks, man. It's a lot of fun to go out there and dominate a race. It's that's what every race car driver really dreams of. So to be able to do this on iRacing and be a part of this league with Chris and all these guys is phenomenal. And I made the statement that we missed the playoffs by I think 3 spots because I was late to join in the season, and I believe that I deserve to be a spot in the playoffs. But I mean, rules are rules, and I understand that. So. But that's not going to keep us from going out and trying to do what we just did tonight. So we're going to try these next 10 or 8 races or however many races it is, and hopefully we get the same results. That's what we're going after.
Absolutely. Well, listen, one final time, congratulations. And before I cut you loose, who helps you get it done on the 52, and who else do you need to shout out before we get you out of here?
Big shout out to my sponsor, man. I think I say this every time we're on this broadcast, but if you guys are into the hunting world, into the outdoor world, we do run a smaller YouTube channel. We are growing every single day. I think we've surpassed 10,000 subs now. Feather Times Productions, check us out on YouTube if you're big into the hunting world. Big shout out to Jeremy, my teammate, everybody over at SCR. You guys up in the booth, David, you do a absolute phenomenal job. So big shout out to Chris and everybody here in the league, and look forward to Bristol in 3 weeks.
All right, my friend. Well, listen, thank you for the kind words. We appreciate you here on Sim Racing Media, and we will see you in a few weeks when we come back at Bristol.
Thank you, Mr. Dave. Have a good one.
Absolutely. And that, of course, the voice of your race winner, Hunter Kent, who was just absolutely dominant tonight here at the Milwaukee Mile. And next, but certainly not least, we want to get a hold of Gabriel Lafreniere, one of our neighbors from the north. Hey, Gabriel, it's Dave. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Buddy, listen, you did amazing tonight. I mean, you were holding off Anthony Savignano and Jeremy Paris. How was that 06 Oxmoor F-150 for you tonight?
Oof. It's a hard race. I know Paris was strong on the oval, so just finish in front of him. Great accomplishment. Very happy for tonight. Yes, very happy.
Well, very happy is definitely one way to put it. And, I always get excited when I see you guys, that Canadian contingent come here and just dominate the way that you do. Tonight, all of you wound up in the top 6. You had, everybody except for Sylvain in the playoffs tonight. What are you thinking as we get ready to go to Bristol?
Bristol will be a nice race, close to Oviron. Claude, Sylvain, great work. We have 3 week practice with the setup. I hope a great result.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, before we cut you loose, who do you need to shout out and who do you need to thank tonight?
Thanks to you, the broadcast, Chris Claude, for all the league, Sylvain and Claude, my teammate, and Oxmoor for tonight.
All right, buddy. Well, listen, before I get you out of here, I almost did it wrong. Before I get you out of here, of course, I want to make sure that I get this totally right in French, so here it is.
Félicitations, mon ami. On se retrouve dans quelques semaines au Bristol Motor Speedway.
Perfect. Good night.
All right, good night. That, of course, the voice of Gabriel Lafreniere. We don't let a little bit of a language barrier stop us here on Sim Racing Media, so we, of course, want to thank Google Translate for that. And last but certainly not least on our podium is Jeremy Paris out of Flowery Branch, Georgia. Jeremy, listen, your teammate was like the Duke of Dominance tonight here at Milwaukee, but, you you had a lot of battles going on between yourself and Gabrielle, yourself and Anthony Savignano, and Savignano raced you pretty clean tonight after what we saw in the Xfinity Series last night.
Oh yeah, no, we had a good race there, and yes, I heard it from Hunter for 175 laps of "Where are you? Where are you?" That's all I kept hearing, and he wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah, I guess it has to get a little rough when you're sitting in the same race chat and all of a sudden your partner is like, miles ahead of you.
Yeah, I mean, he was pretty much mocking us tonight, and he was really fast. I don't know what to say. I didn't get much practice, but that was not a good showing for us. I knew it, kind of idea that it wouldn't be, but just wanted to stay clean there. And those other two guys that we ran with all night ran really clean. We had a good race.
Yeah, I mean, and this is still going to be really good for your playoff hopes as we get, deeper here into the playoff session. And I mean, we've got a 3-week layoff before going to Bristol. So what's going to be the Brittany Steers Racing strategy here coming into coming into Bristol in a few weeks?
Well, I'm glad it's on Tuesday, so I have some time from recovering from actually going to Bristol and being a little maybe hungover.
You're going to need it.
But yeah,
I know that's how I'm going to feel coming home from Homestead in October.
Yes, no, I'm just going to try to get some practice this time. I didn't get much here. Try to throw some sandbags or something in Hunter's truck where we can catch him. I'll get the crew chief to work on that since we're in the same shop, I just hope for the best.
All right, brother. Well, listen, hoping for the best is sometimes all you can do here in the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series. Before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank and who else helps you get it done in the 05 team?
Hi, just Hunter and the boys over there at Feathered Tines, Consolidated Pipe, and the new one on the tailgate, Elite Holdings. So
I saw that.
We'll bring a little bit more out with them here the next week or so.
I saw that. I was very excited that it wasn't a blank race truck tonight. So congrats on nailing down the Elite Holdings sponsorship. Congrats.
Well, yeah, we had a couple other ones, but you've been gone. I mean, I brought sponsors just for you, Dave, so you could talk about them, and you were gone the last race.
Yeah, God forbid I should go on vacation, and that's the week when you've got that car painted up.
Right? I mean, you could have let me know. I would have held out for you.
Hey, I get it. Well, listen, man, congrats on the P3 finish, and we'll see you in a few weeks down at Bristol. Thanks, buddy.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Folks, sometimes that's the beauty of being with a race series week after week. I mean, you really get to know drivers, and you really get to develop a cool, back and forth relationship with them. And what a great group of guys and gals that we have here and that we've had over time here in this league. And, excuse me. And it's just exciting to see all these things come together here as we head deeper into the playoffs. But before we head to Bristol in a few weeks, we want to take one final look at our results here from the Milwaukee Mile. Hunter Kent captures the checkered flag, and he's joined on the podium by Gabriel Lafreniere and Jeremy Paris. Anthony Savignano and Claude Ferland round out your top 5, while Sylvain Joly brings 6th position home. Daniel Moynihan and Stoney Benfield come home 7th and 8th, while 9th goes to Richard Pruitt, while Casey Bristow rounds out your top 10. Ron Fitting and John Wilco come home in 11th and 12th, while 13th goes to Chris Claude. 14th is Andrew Deemer. 15th goes to Chris Custer, while Randall Watkins, my brother from another mother down there, Mr. 305, finishes in 16th. Keith Long wraps up 17th position, while Derek Baycorn comes home in 18th. Brandon Minto and Rich Jett round out your top 20, while Michael Witt gets the 88 into 21st. Brian Tarnowski finishes 22nd, while John Crow finishes 23rd. Paul Hill in 24th. And last but certainly not least is Tane Hodison in the number 93 machine from Apex Motorsports. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and making us a part of your evening here on Sim Racing Media. We thank you for tuning in every week. And if you haven't done so, make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications right here on Sim Racing Media. So for myself, Dave Regal, and everyone else here on our team, we want to say thanks for tuning in. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.